we go. Okay, guys, thank you so much for bearing with me. Let's talk about chapter 9, The Secret Code of Success. It is a life-changing book. If you have been dabbling reading it, get into it, finish it up. This is life-changing stuff that we're about to talk about. Chapter 9 is titled Find Your No. I want you to think for a minute about people-pleasing, busyness, having a savior complex. All of these things are reasons why we don't know. Self-discipline is another one. I love how he broke down saying no into 3 different areas. The first one was kind of a rude awakening for me. Anybody else? Because it deals with your personal no. When I think about, you need to say no more, I think about telling people no. I'm like, yes, I need to say, no, I'm not volunteering for that. No, we can't make it to dinner over there. No, we can't do this because I need to free up my time. And we're going to talk about that. That's your interpersonal no. We're going to talk about that in a second. But he breaks down the first no that we have to learn is our personal no. You guys, self-discipline, procrastination, these are things that I absolutely struggle with food, with exercise, with spending, with procrastinating, obviously, with actually doing things that are going to benefit our time, our money, our family, all of these things. Are we disciplined enough to tell ourselves no? I really want that purse. We don't really have the money in it, but I'm going to put it on the credit card anyway. Tell yourself no. You can't afford it. Your money is better allocated somewhere else where it can benefit your family, right? Food. This is a big one, you guys. We are a health and wellness company. We're a supplement company. People being able to tell themselves no is something we need to be helping people with, helping ourselves with. Gosh, those donuts look good. I told myself I wasn't going to eat sugar, but oh well, I'm just going to eat one. We got to learn how to tell ourselves no and be okay with it. That, again, mental fortitude, that self-discipline of knowing. And I love what he says in here, like wealthy, successful people have told themselves no. They have that self-discipline aspect really nailed down. And that is something that I do struggle with. Like that is something that I'm working on, and especially really open my eyes in this. It's not just about like, I can't make myself do this. I can't make myself do this. It's literally learning to tell yourself no and then listen to yourself. I really, really, really think that we just don't think about that when we are finding our no, like he talks about. When you think my life is too busy, I don't look the way I want to look, my clothes aren't fitting, we have to really get down to the nitty gritty of why those things are. And it's because most of the time we are not telling ourselves no. Why don't I have any savings? Yes, it could be that you don't have enough coming in and you got to pay your bills, but are there spending areas? Are you going out to eat too much? You're taking the kids shopping and you can't say no to your kids, which is an interpersonal. All of these things, these areas are ways that we have to take hold and figure out, what do I want in life? You know what? I want my clothes to fit. I want to feel happy about myself when I look in the body. So I'm going to make sure that I'm taking my supplements every day. I'm going to make sure I'm getting my water in, and I'm going to learn to tell myself no. And I'm going to learn to listen to myself. I'm going to learn to say no to the sweets. I'm going to learn to say no for the 8th time that someone wants to go out to eat and have a hangout or go to the coffee shop because I know it's too tempting for me. And that is not going to make me happy. What are the things that I'm looking for, the values and the goals in my life? And line up your energy, your time, your money, right, with those things. So that personal no is a big deal, y'all. That could change so much for so many people, not only ourselves, but people on our teams, if they would learn the self-discipline of being able to tell themselves no. Because and I know, when you don't tell yourself no and you go for that donut or you spend money on that purse, the guilt that comes with it is terrible. And then for me, I am one of those types of people that kind of sabotages myself. You fail in one area, you gotta throw the baby out with the bathwater. I ate a donut. You know what I mean? Like, So then I'm just giving it up in all areas of my life and just allowing craziness to happen everywhere because I'm like, oh, I failed and I ate a donut. No, just learn how to listen to yourself. Learn how to know what you want and how to have the discipline to make the decisions to go for it. But that guilt, y'all, that cycle is a vicious cycle. I think that is why a huge percentage of our team actually quits and gives up because they have failed in little tiny things and they think that means that they are a failure and that it's not going to work for them, that they don't have the willpower, that they're not strong enough to actually achieve what they want and what they desire. And that is a lie from the pit of hell. Every one of us is absolutely strong enough to tell ourselves no, to rein in what energy and resources and things we have to meet the values and the things that we desire most in this life right now. The interpersonal no, for the people pleasers in the room, that is hard for you. I have come from a place where my family are lots of people pleasers. We grew up that way. My sisters, they're beautiful and wonderful. And inherently, this comes from a place of loving people and wanting to do for people. It also can come from a place, like we talked about in chapter 8, is that fear of disapproval or looking for approval from other people. So you're unable to tell somebody no when they want something from you. Y'all, in so many different areas, not just as this, let's look at it from a busyness standpoint. You're never home. You guys are always having to eat on the go because you have this meeting and then this PTA thing, and I'm room mom, and I'm, I volunteered for this at church, and I did this for my neighbor. I was supposed to bake them a pie, and if I told them I was going to do it, I better do it. Well, you guys, you better quit telling people that you're going to do so much stuff because your kids are eating McDonald's every day and they're going to have diabetes. We got to focus on what's important at hand, getting that approval from others. Or taking care of your mental space, taking care of your household, your children, whatever it is for you, not learning to say no to people is taken away from that. Also, not being able to say no, I was thinking about not being able to say no to my kids. You guys, parenting is hard. Learning to help your children hear the word no, and have it not be a no until they ask 50 more times and then it becomes a yes, which is a lot of the times what happens in my house. But actually having no be a healthy thing that our kids are hearing, or that, maybe you're in a work environment where people pile stuff on you. I have been there. My husband has been there. Because you say yes all the time, they're going to continue to pile things on you. You're always going to be stressed. You're never going to be able to get your actual work done and accomplish anything to your fullest abilities because you have allowed people to pile things on you because you cannot say no. We have allowed our children to argue with us and be bratty and be whiny because no doesn't mean no. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. That is biblical, right? It doesn't mean we don't like people. It doesn't mean we don't want to help. And I love, love, love how he broke down the interpersonal no. The detect, deflect, and reflect. Those 3 steps. So because we do love people, because we do want to help, but we also have to take care of our family and our headspace and our goals and our dreams and our time, money, energy, all of these things. We do need to be able to say no. So what he's saying is to detect, what is someone asking of me? Ask them questions. If you're not really sure of what they're asking, don't just say yes willy-nilly because you're like, oh my God, they need me to do this. Okay, I'll do it. What? I have to be there for 7 hours on Saturday? My son has a softball game. Oh my God, I already said yes. I'm just going to have to make it work. I'm going to have to miss my son's game. You know what I mean? Make sure you know what's being asked of you and ask questions. Be interested in what they're asking of you. Don't allow people to just be like, do this and walk away. Okay, so can you tell me what that entails? What exactly are you needing for me to do if I am coming to this event, let's say, or what exactly are you wanting out of this? What is expected of me? And then deflect. Oh man, I would love to be able to help with that, but my son has a game at 8:00, which means I wouldn't be able to be there the whole time. I've already promised him that I would be there. It's very important to my family that we do those things together. And because I know that it's important to have someone that is going to take the time to be there and be fully present, I want to make sure that I don't say yes and have this uncovered for you. And then reflect. how can you still help without saying yes to everything? You know what? So I can't do it, but I think I have a couple of people in mind that really might be able to help with this and would probably love it and be able to stay the whole time. So it's a win-win. Let me see if I can call a couple of people and I'll let you know. But for sure, it's not going to be something I'm going to be able to help you with. Y'all, there are so many ways, and he talks about saying no back here. How many ways to say no? I love it. I'd love to help, but I'm cutting back on the time I spend in that area. How about we talk about this next year in your work, or maybe in your church environment or whatever, when you feel like people are piling stuff? How awesome would you feel if you were like, yeah, just talk to me about that next year when that rolls around? You know, I don't have time to do it this year. The reality of it is, maybe it's something that only happens once a year. Why do you feel the need to be involved with it if it is going to stress you out and not benefit your family, your time, your money, your resources, whatever it is? Because someone's asking of you and they need it and it's a one-time thing, oh, I'll handle the stress. No. If it's not good for you, if it's not something that's in your wheelhouse of values, then say, you know what, I would love to help with this, but this year's not going to be good. Let's talk a couple months before it happens next year, and I would love to maybe start heading some of that stuff up early. You know, reflect, deflect. I like to schedule in those types of requests several days ahead. Can you make that work for you? That's pretty good. Yeah, I would be able to help with that. I'm not going to be able to have it to you by tomorrow because I have a life, but if you're fine with it taking a few more days, I'd love to help, with that, but I just can't do it right this second. Being able to have those healthy conversations and saying no doesn't mean you have to be mean. It doesn't mean that you don't want to be helpful. It just means that you need to healthily be able to have the conversation of, if I can help, these are the parameters in which I can. If I can be a part of this, this is how it's going to have to happen. And if that's not okay, if that's not helpful, it's totally fine. Let me help you find someone else that can. Or here are some suggestions, because I know what has happened to some people in the past is like, you're like, yeah, let me help you find someone. And they're like, okay, great. Let me know when you find someone. And then it's all on you to find someone. And if you don't, you got to do it anyway. That's not healthy either. Don't do that. Maybe shout out a couple of names right there. Have you thought about calling so-and-so and so-and-so? Or why don't you I've done this before. Why don't you just make a post on Facebook? And I'm sure there will be people that will respond that would love to help. You just got to find who's available and who would, be interested in that. So make sure that it still doesn't get pushed off on you to find a replacement. That's not your job. I understand there are consequences when I say no to this, but I'm willing to live with those consequences. Y'all, in our family situations, and maybe if you work outside of Plexus, look, I know that everyone is expected to be there, but this is my son's only soccer, like they're going to a state championship. It is that important to me to miss this meeting. As much as I love this job, I know there are consequences. I know that I might have to get passed over for that really cool promotion or that whatever, but it's important to me. And unfortunately, I'm just going to have to say no to this right now. That is not easy, especially when you know that there are going to be things that you're going to have to miss out on. But being willing to live with those consequences and to be able to healthily say that to someone probably would respect. There was a story, and I forget where I heard it, what video or what book I heard it in, but of a girl who won this amazing, or, because of her application, won this amazing dinner with the CEO of her company, or maybe it was like all these people were applying for a job and they were all supposed to go out for dinner that night. Well, she had invited the janitor out to dinner because of something nice he did. I don't remember all the circumstances, but instead of canceling on the janitor, she didn't go to this amazing opportunity where she would have been able to, rub elbows and possibly get this amazing job that she wanted. She stayed true to her values and did not cancel on this man that she had, or whatever the circumstance was. And she ended up getting the job because the CEO or whoever was in charge of that heard about what she did, and he wanted someone who had integrity and someone who valued their word and their time on his team. So you guys, there's not always consequences when stuff like that happens. Sometimes being able to healthily have these conversations shows discipline in your life, and it shows these areas where you have integrity, and that can be a very positive thing. So don't let that scare you. Oh, you have been so good to me, but I need to say no to this. Is there something else I can do? I really can't head up the entire bazaar at the church this year. I really just don't have the time and the resources to do that well, but I would love to make some things for the booth. I absolutely have some stuff that I can throw together. I would still love to help with this, but I can't be in charge of it. Those are examples of things that, you know, yes, I can say yes, but I need to say yes on my own terms to make sure that it's a healthy fit. That's just not the sort of thing that I can respond to in this lifetime. I love that one. No, that is not me. I'm never going to go do this because that is not who I am, and it makes me uncomfortable. I would love to chat, but this is part of my business day, and I'm focused on earning money. How about tonight? That is hilarious. I don't know that I'd ever be like, I'm focused on earning money. But time management, you guys. There are reasons why we talk about power hours and setting aside your phone, unless obviously you're working on your phone, turn off your notifications or whatever. There are times in our lives where we have to time management ourselves and saying no in the moment to responding to someone, saying no in the moment to, hey, can you go meet for lunch real quick? When you're knee deep in your IPA and knowing that you don't have extra time in your day later to get it done, to be able to say, I really want to, but I'm really supposed to be focusing on my business right now. My son is screaming at me. I hear him. He's been screaming for 45 minutes. I'm having to tell him no mentally, even though he can't hear me, because I am committed to this. And this is something that I have been looking forward to doing with you guys. And it is a part of my business and pouring into you. He will be fine. Those are things in our interpersonal space that we've got to learn how to say no to. So detect, deflect, and reflect. Just because you say no to someone does not mean that it's the end of the world for them. You are not the only person that can handle that task. We got to tell ourselves that, especially perfectionist people. If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. That is not true. Empower someone else. Let them learn, even if they struggle through it or even if it's not perfect. It will get done, and you did not stress out, and you were able to go home possibly and eat dinner with your family that night. Okay. Don't have a savior complex. Don't feel like you've got to do everything to help everyone out because you are the savior of their universe. Let them figure it out. Someone else can be the savior that day. It's okay. And then the last one, so you had personal, interpersonal, and then the global. The global no is where the integrity portion really comes in, and he hits home on this. And this is not something that we got to talk about for too long, but like, what are your values? What are your morals? What are you going to just say no to because it is not lining up with who you are, what you believe, what your family expects of you? Let's talk about marriage. Like, no, my husband would not appreciate if I go to dinner with you alone. So I'm going to have to say no. I know you're my boss, and I know that it's not going to be weird or anything like that. But as a married woman, I'm going to have to say no to this opportunity, regardless of the consequences, because it does not line up. It does not make me look like a woman of integrity to go to dinner with you as a man. Those are the types of things that we're looking at here on a global spectrum of who are you? What are your values? What do you hold true? What would you in a million years, if someone, even if they were paying you $10 million, would not say yes to? Because it questions all of those things. That is your global no. The stealing analogy. I love how he put that in there. There are things subconsciously that we don't realize are not lining up with our values and beliefs. And we're like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this. Procrastination is one of them. Not valuing time, not valuing your family because you are procrastinating. Well, that means that my actions are not lining up with my kind of global value. But he said that, you know, he would get all these temp jobs and everyone would love him. And he would always find himself like stealing things from the supply closet, like paper clips and pens and all of this stuff. I've been there. But he was like, well, clearly it's just all here for us. You know, they got plenty of money to replace it. I need some of this at home. We're good to go. As long as it fits in a duffel bag, no one knows, no one cares. And he kept getting passed over for these jobs where people were like, man, you were so good at this, or like, you're definitely going to get the position. He wouldn't get it. And I love, love, love what he said. One day I realized by stealing little things, I was telling God, I don't have money, so I have to steal from others. And my actions were saying, I don't have. And God reflected back to me, okay, you don't have. As I was taking from others, so I was taken from. Y'all, that might seem silly to you, like, you know, God's reading into everything we do, but basically that's the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If we are not being faithful and integrous in the little things in our lives, why would we be blessed, and why would he put on us and give us these things when we are acting and not believing? You know, that's something Abby has talked to us about a lot in her business, is that she was praying and asking for the Lord in the first part of her business, like, bless us, and she didn't feel, and she was convicted of the fact that she wasn't meeting God there with the work behind it. She was not, you know, faithful with her, you know, daily IPAs or time management, or actually doing to the fullest extent of what she thought she could do. And so she had that, like, she talks about that super serious conversation with the Lord of like, all right, I'm praying for this. I'm asking for you to bless it. I'm going to go. I'm going to meet you there, and I'm going to do all of the things so that this is an integrous request that I'm making of you. I'm not just expecting you to give something to me and me not, you know, do my part. So I love that. So find your no. What is it in your life right now that you need to be telling yourself no about, that is holding you back from happiness, that is holding you back from success? No, for the fourth night this week, you do not need to go to a mom's night out. No, you do not need to do this because you have not done IPA all week and your business is suffering. You know, no, don't eat the donut because you're going to hate yourself later and you're never going to get to the gold pants that you have hanging up in your closet. No, self, you know, what can you tell yourself no to, and hear yourself and listen to yourself? What do you need to be saying no to in your life as it comes to, you know, another job or other people that you need to be saying no to, so you don't feel piled on and like you're not in control of your space, of your time, of your family? Y'all, it's ours. We need to have control over what we're doing on a daily basis. We can have that healthy control without saying no and missing out on opportunities or not doing our job well. That's not what I'm saying. But that healthy time management and repurposing, that, what he calls it, reflecting on how to do it without making you go crazy, basically. And your global no. Figure out what your values are. Really sit on that and rest on that. And then align your life, align your decisions up with those values and what you hold to be super important to you. I hope that you have really gleaned a lot from these chapters. I know I have. Definitely share this recording with people on your team because these are all such incredible values. Encourage them to read this book for sure, that we need to have in our personal lives, not just in our business, but in order to live a full, successful, happy life in all areas. These principles are super, super helpful to make sure that we are getting there. So love you guys. Thank you for jumping on and for bearing with me through all of the technical difficulties yet again. It's just because this is so important for you guys to hear, and it's a breakthrough, I'm telling you. All right. Have a wonderful day, you guys. Thank you so much for being here with us.